Today we're back on the quest to find which character has the best punishment in Tekken 8. This time, we're on 12-frame punishers. I've skipped over standing 11-frame punishers, because not many characters have them, but I've included them here and given them some bonus points for being 1 frame faster. I'll give you more details throughout, so let's get right into it. The variables we've measured for these rankings are damage, range, and the situation after the punish. The more damage, the better. However, damage isn't everything. Alisa and Kazuya in particular have some range issues with their punishment. Some characters have really insane range, which I'll highlight after the rankings, but after a certain point the range becomes redundant, except in very niche circumstances. I found that if the move can hit at around 2.2 range, then it shouldn't have issues in the vast majority of situations. Anything lower than that may cause some inconsistencies, so I've tried to take that into account. As for the situation after the punish, a knockdown into good Oki is the best case, with wall splats being high priority as well. The next best is having good frame advantage after the punish, and having options to transition into stance can be pretty strong as well. I've said it before, but I need to reiterate, these rankings are my own subjective opinion based on the data I could gather. The importance of damage, range, and post-punish situation are subjective and highly based on the player, but I've done my best to rank everybody as consistently as I can in regards to the data. I'd love to hear your opinion on my rankings, so whether you agree or disagree, share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm always open to being wrong and having a healthy discussion. Aside from the subjective, I will show some objective data afterwards, with the top damage, range, and some more interesting highlights. We'll also be showing who gets the most bang for their buck, from doing their 12-frame punish over their 10-frame. So if one of your characters is in that list, this will be your cue to clean up on your punishment. With the explanations done, I'll let the rankings play out, then we'll move on to the highlights. So there we have it. You may have noticed Zafina and Feng weren't on this list. That's because they don't have normal 12-frame punishers. Zafina has her Heat Smash, which at I-12 startup is extremely powerful, but I didn't want to categorize it the same as the other punishers, but here are the stats. Feng simply doesn't have a 12-frame punish, so he needs to use his 10-frame for -10, 11, and 12 moves. And finally, not including Zafina's Heat Smash, the top damage 12-frame punishers are as follows. The highest damage is 33, with King, Paul, and Shaheen. Paul has one of the best Oki situations, flipping the opponent onto their stomach. It also wall splats and has great range. Shaheen's is +5 but leaves a lot of pushback. At the wall though, you get 3 more damage and are a fat +13. King's is +5 as well, with the number 1 furthest range. Just look at this. The next highest damage has a lot of characters. Alisa unfortunately got ranked a bit lower due to her range and bad Oki. It's still good, because of the damage and wall splat, just not top tier. 31 damage is still well above average, and Jin's wall splats from an unreasonable distance away from the wall. Although Lee doesn't have the best stats on paper, I've still put him at number 1 overall, due to it being a heat engager. That means in Heat, you can get a 12-frame Heat Dash punish, and I'm not a Lee player, but I'm pretty sure this is all guaranteed. If you're out of Heat, you still get a knockdown and wall splat, and with Lee's wall damage, that's pretty damn good. At 30 damage, we still have some of the best punishes. Lily in particular has the second best range, and gives great Oki. Unfortunately, Kazuya has hitbox issues, as he would otherwise be ranked a little higher. I had a hard time determining the real strength of some of these. It was hard to determine the value of Claudio getting Starburst from forward 2-2, then comparing it to other punishers. Maybe some Claudio mains can help me out. June is the only one at 28 damage, but it's honestly not even worth it. I would just use her 10-frame punishes instead. The remaining punishes were pretty underwhelming, but although Asuka has the lowest damage, she has one of the best frame advantages at plus 14 on hit, which is basically a free mix-up. It also wall splats. So there we have it, the damage rankings plus some notes that I found interesting. Next up we have our range rankings. Again, Kings and Lilies will pretty much never whiff. The characters in D tier and actual Poo tier, I would say, have range issues, where their punish will whiff in a significant amount of situations. Even for the characters in C tier, I wouldn't be too worried as they will only whiff in a few situations, unless you have hitbox issues like Kazuya. It's a lot harder to rank the post-punish situations, as they're a lot more subjective. Trying to rank different Oki situations across different characters, or different frame situations versus different stances, is honestly too complicated for my Reina one-trick brain. But here's my best attempt to categorize everything, so you have some idea. And finally, the last thing we'll do is compare 12-frame punishes and 10-frame, so we can see who benefits the most from punishing correctly. So, we'll try and run through these quickly, but you can pause if you want a closer look. The top biggest damage jumps are Ling, who gains 10 damage, Jack, who gains 10 damage, Lars also 10. The bears get 10 as well. Then Claudio gets 12 more damage plus Starburst. Paul gets 16. And Nina gets 17. Aside from damage, I want to mention Asuka, as the situation is so much better from her 12 frame than her 10. It's also worth noting, if your 10 frame doesn't wall splat, but your 12 frame does, you could potentially lose out on a whole wall combo, so definitely try and punish properly when at the wall. Now the characters who get the least benefit. Number 1 by far is June, who basically has a worse 12 frame than 10 frame punish. Azucena's 10 frame is really good, and she has a wall splatting option. Yoshi in no sword stance has one of the best 10 frames, and it also heals him. Not really worth doing the 12 frame. Lily gets better Oki, but only 2 more damage. The range is way better though. Jin also just gets 2 damage, but gets a knockdown. As for Feng and Zafina, you literally don't have to think about it. Although a Zafina punishing a -12 move with Heat Smash does sound pretty sick. As for the rest of the cast, they're pretty average. But if you want the cold hard data, I'll be posting it on Discord, so check it out if you're interested. That's all for today. I hope you learned something, and as always, thanks for watching.